Who will win the 2026 World Matchplay? Who will produce the biggest shock of the first round? And which seeds are most in danger? All that and much more in the big Darts News Blackpool special.
Hello and welcome to the DartsNews Podcast. My name is Kieran Wood and I'm joined as always by Nicolas. How are you, mate?
Hi Kieran, I'm really good. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. It's been another busy week of darts and we've got the World Matchplay to look forward to today.
Oh yeah, we have. And to kick us off this time, I would like to give you a first question before we start in with the hot seat, of course. A bit more of a personal note, I'd say, because if I'm not mistaken, you have already been to Blackpool before, and now you are going back to Blackpool, working for DartsNews on site, of course. So I just wanted to ask you if you can give us a little insight, like how is Blackpool like behind the scenes working as a media person? If you could just give us an impression from that perspective.
I would say the Winter Gardens is the best venue that you go to. As a, not even so much as just a media person, as just a darts fan. It's just such a brilliant place to be. And obviously, we're quite lucky with the media that we get better access than the average person. But
yeah,
still think even at the Winter Gardens, that's so much better. And I'm staying at the same hotel I stayed at last year as well, which I don't know if you remember, but that was where I stayed at the same place as Peter Manley last year.
Yeah.
And it's literally, you look out the window and you can see the Winter Gardens basically on the doorstep.
Okay, sounds good. And like for me as a German who's never been to Blackpool before, always like you see these little clips they produce where they are like walking at the beach and it always looks really nice. Is Blackpool like one of the nicer spots in England, or how's the city like?
It depends what you want, really. It's like, it has like a reputation of being the Las Vegas of England.
Yeah.
But I'd say half of it, as in if you want to go to the beach and you want to go on a donkey ride or get warm donuts and things like that, is good. But if don't go too far into town,
all right,
then you will see things you don't want to see.
So rather stay on the outside.
Stay on the tourist bits.
Enjoy the beach and stuff. Okay. All right, it's good to know. Like I'm glad I asked, because if I end up at Blackpool at any time, then I know.
Just stay where people are.
Yeah, that's good to know. All right, then we move on. I'd say get into the hot seat directly, because obviously I always open up with that and have some fiery questions at the start. And Kieran, it's my turn again to ask you this week. And I'm asking you a topic we've already discussed a few weeks ago, or many times already. But we'll focus on the World Matchplay. Will we ever see Peter Wright return to Blackpool again?
I think there's a couple of people you can ask this question about actually as well. But specifically for Peter Wright, I can't see that happening again. Unless the World Seniors comes back and plays a tournament.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Because he's in a bit of a career free fall at the moment, which is not great to see.
Yeah, true. He is. And it was interesting speaking to him in Graz, so a few weeks ago when I was at the European tour, and we got to interview him, and I was surprised to still hear that he still puts on the same like demeanor as he always did the last couple of months and years, where he just says like, back then he told us he will be going to the World Matchplay. He told us he will be winning the next Players' Championships, and then everything's okay. Now that didn't happen, but then he also told us that he will be world champion again come the end of the year and all of that stuff. And I always wondered if he can keep that up. Apparently he does. Doesn't really benefit from it on a sporting perspective, but I'd have to agree. I don't think he will be back at the regular
on
PDC Matchplay.
On those comments, I think he's almost saying it. Back in the day, I think he said it because he believed it. Yeah. But nowadays, I think he's almost saying it to try and believe it, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's trying to convince himself, if much as anything.
100%. Yeah. I have the same feeling with him. In your opinion, Kieran, because that's always a big topic surrounding the match play, also the Worlds and the Premier League. In your opinion, does the Triple Crown exist in darts?
It does, but I wouldn't include the Premier League in it because it's not a ranking event.
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
always I've always thought of the UK Open as that third. I know some people say the Grand Prix, but I've always preferred the UK Open as that sort of third part in that. I'm not sure about you.
All right, interesting. So you would keep the Triple Crown, like that's the thing, but you would change or exchange the Premier League for another tournament. Yeah,
I like I like the honour of having a triple crown in the sport.
yeah,
As in, like in golf, you have the Grand Slam for winning all four majors, and
yeah,
you have it in different sports as well, don't you? So I think that's a good thing to try and aim for the top players.
yeah.
But personally, I wouldn't have the Premier League as it's not a ranking.
All right, yeah. I think I've never thought about it that way, but I'm in the same opinion as you when it's just about the Triple Crown itself because I really like having these things, little side quests in sports where there's not an actual crown that gets awarded or anything like that, but it's a thing to achieve, like an unofficial honor. So yeah, I like that. And last but not least, and you've pretty much already answered that question, so I'll put it last, but you can have another little take on that. Are the Winter Gardens the greatest venue in all of darts?
Yes, by a mile. Like I
Yeah.
love Ali Pali. I've been to Wolves, to Grand Slam. I've been to Premier League venues and everything like that. But I always much prefer the Winter Gardens over everything. It's just a special, special place.
Yeah, also thought so like all my life as a darts fan. I've always been like a huge fan of the match play and also of the Winter Gardens, but I've always never been to the place. So if you would have told me 5 minutes ago, it looks nice from the TV, but when you get there, it's not that nice. Then my opinion maybe would have changed. But now that you've told me that it's also a great being there on site, I will keep that opinion. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that.
The best, the best way I could describe it, having been to both Ali Pali and Winter Gardens, is
Yeah.
Ali Pali is the best place to go if you're a fan of
Hmm.
the crowd chants and the beer and the atmosphere. It's peak for that.
Yeah.
And then if you're a darts fan, the number one place to go has to be Winter Gardens.
Yeah, that's always something I really liked about watching the match play because it just felt like the crowd is they're very into darts. Like it's more of they're very fun and know what's going on. I always liked that a lot. So yeah, definitely on the bucket list for me personally, Blackpool. All right, Kieran, where should we head next? Should we just yeah take a first little look on the storylines that are waiting on us in Blackpool?
Go ahead. The draw was revealed yesterday, and
Yeah.
there's one standout match, at least for you German fans, I think.
Oh yeah.
It's about Luke Littler versus Nico Springer in one of the standout first round ties.
Absolutely, yeah. And the crazy thing surrounding that, which just came to my mind again yesterday, which is still hard to believe, is the fact that we as Darts Germany are still waiting for our second World Matchplay win. Like in all of the tournament history, we've only had one win with
Oh,
Max
really?
Hopp beating. Yeah, really, we've only had one win. Max Hopp beating, I think, Dave Chisnell in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 11 to 9 legs. And that was the only ever German win in the match play history. And now, of course, we've got two guys going to the match play, Nico and Martin. One of them plays Luke Littler, the other plays Gavin Price. So the waiting could go on.
Yeah, they could have had a bit of an easier draw.
Yeah, yeah, I think that would have been possible. Um, I don't know, Kieran. Do you see any scenario in the world where that gets a bit dodgy for Luke Littler playing against Nico?
Well, they always used to say with Phil Taylor that if you're going to beat him in one of these tournaments, you beat him in the
Yeah,
first round
yeah.
before he's settled in. So if Nico Springer is going to do it, he's got as good a chance as anyone, I would say. Shortest format, first game of the tournament,
Mm.
but I can't really see it happening.
No, no, me neither. Not even my German bias can can lead to me thinking that will be a German win. What's like apart from that? What match do you fancy most in the first round? I think we can say the draw. It's all right, but it's not like any standout draw. I don't think there are too many highlights.
I don't think there's any like blockbuster first round ties.
Yeah,
Personally, though, I'm looking forward to the Van Gogh and Gilding game.
I knew you would say
Gilding,
it.
Gilding two quarterfinals in a row at the match play.
Yeah,
He lost to Michael Van Gogh in a quarterfinal a couple of years ago, and this is a chance to get revenge.
it is. It is. really looking forward to this one as well. Yeah, and I think Michael could have his handful with that playing Andrew, who's in a good form. Yeah, definitely. Of course, I'm always looking at the draw of Gary Anderson because I'm always following him very closely, of course. And I think playing against Ryan Choice, it's never easy because, as we all know, he's very good on the doubles. But I think the current form that Ryan is in, I do fancy Gary to get into the next round there. And so yeah, as I said, Martin Schindler playing Gavin Price, which could be a close one because Gazzy doesn't really seem too focused on the darts right now, as he admitted himself in the US. But then again, Martin just isn't in the form you would like to see him in heading into the match play. So yeah, as you said, some cool matches, some cool duels, but not like the blockbuster ones.
With Gerwyn Price, I think it depends what Gerwyn Price turns up, doesn't it?
It
We
does, yeah.
see a different Gerwyn Price tournament to tournament at the moment, let alone game to game. So he could come out and average 106 and destroy Matt Schindler, and it wouldn't be a surprise. He could come out, average 90s, and get comfortably beaten, and equally, it wouldn't really be a surprise, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. But I just don't really. I just think whatever Gavin Price is turning up, I think even if it will be like a close tussle between the two, I still think Gazzy will get over the line. As I said, just because I don't think Martin himself is in the form right now to really beat Gazzy at the first round in the World Matchplay. Of course, he can do it. I just don't really see it happening right now. So, yeah, as I said, chances are high that we are waiting or will be, we'll have to keep waiting for another German win in Blackpool. Yeah, I mean, should we get into a bit of like the top stars discussions, Littler, Humphries? What do we want to talk
Have you
about
got
next?
anyone particularly that you want to go for?
I mean, let's look at Luke Littler because, of course, there's this big topic going on of him maybe going for a clean sweep and winning all the big ranking majors in one single season. Where do you see him at right now? Do you see him as the clear favorite heading into that tournament? Where do you put his
I
game
think
at right now?
I think it's not a really surprising thing to say, but Littler is the favourite for any tournament he turns up to at the moment, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's I say he's going for the clean sweep of title wins, which would be something completely ridiculous if you'd have said that a few years ago, given the competitive nature that was at the top end of darts at the time. And I think he said the other week as well that if he does win the match play, he might actually turn up to a few Players Championships events just to try and qualify for Minehead and then win that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just for that, I would actually like to see him win the match play because I would like to see that little side quest going on with him heading back to the Pro Tours, and I'm interested in seeing like how long it actually takes him to qualify. If it's actually that easy for him just to turn up, get 2 titles under the belt,
Turn up,
and
win
then
2 or 3
job
events in
done.
a row, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. If that actually works out, because usually that's, like we all know, not how the PDC floor works. So that would be interesting to see. Then of course we have
just
Luke Humphries.
play.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, just before you go into Humphries, to play devil's advocate a little bit, how do you see the potential of Littler not winning the match play? Like, what potential stumbling blocks do you think he has in front of him this year?
We will get into that a bit later, but I think like the actual only potential I see him not winning the tournament lays in the final for me and his opponent.
Yeah,
And as I said, I will get into that a bit later because the other obvious name that I'm very impressed with right now is Luke Humphries. And I think I've said that quite a few times in our prediction segment on like in the tournament centers we do on Darts News, because I've tipped Luke Humphries to win quite a lot of things lately. That's just because I'm really impressed with his like development within the season, because like the start of the season wasn't that easy for him, and it just seemed like he's at a bit of a crossroads, because it felt like he's not really happy with his own game, but then again, also not really happy with the standing he has. He always goes on in press conferences and interviews about how he always gets written off so quickly and doesn't really get the respect he deserves. But then at the same time, I always think probably he's right when he says it, because he knows it best, because he is Luke Humphries. But then I always look at it and I feel like when I open social media or any other platform or whatever, I always see so much praise for Luke Humphries. I always feel like dart fans have really shifted, because a few years ago he wasn't like a big fan favorite. He was just like the up and coming rookie, and he was a bit emotional, and he wasn't like everyone's cup of tea. But I felt like that really shifted, and people have gotten so, yeah, just grateful for Luke Humphries and for everything he does for darts, and also for the person he is, standing at the top of darts, representing the game, being or coming across as a really smart guy, saying the right things pretty much all the time, and all that stuff. So I feel like there's been a shift, and now a few months later, I always feel like that Luke Humphries is accepting that role a bit better himself. I think he's accepting not being the star of the game, not being the best player in the world, but being, I think, someone darts fans and the whole community is really grateful for. And I think he really is accepted in the darts community as one of the faces of the sport. And I think he's growing into that role a lot better. And I think if you are comfortable with what you are representing in the game, I think you will also be a better player on the hockey. And I think that's exactly what we are seeing.
I think it's Wayne Mardle that says it, and he says Luke Humphries is the best ambassador darts could ever wish to have,
Yeah,
because of the way he operates, not just on the hockey, but in media days and when he's
exactly.
just
Yeah.
on, even on like interviews and things like that. But I think as for like the crowd support of Humphries, when Luke Littler was on the rise, Humphries was almost the not a villain, but the anti-hero, if you like, because
Mm-hmm.
he was fighting against a 16, 17-year-old who was breaking records. But now Littler is that all-conquering dominant figure. Like you say, it's kind of switched in fans' mind where people have realised, hang on a minute, Humphries is the one that, if we don't want Littler to win everything, we need Humphries to be at his best.
That's a good point. And I think even before that, like in the 2020s, 21, 22, where he started winning European tours, had his first big wins on the Ali Pali stage, I think he wasn't like the natural fan favorite, like a Justin Hood or something like that. Because
Yeah,
always people back then, when they didn't know him that well, I think it was easy to think that he's a bit arrogant. I think that's something he got a lot. So yeah, I think that was a bit of the issue. People had a bit of maybe a false image. I cannot judge what people think of other people, of course, but maybe a bit of a false image in my opinion. And now people are growing on Luke Humphries more and more, and are actually realizing how good he is for the game. And as you said, Wayne Mardle says he's the best ambassador we could have for darts. And I feel like he's not the only one saying that. You hear that quite a lot from pundits, from fans, just like it's gotten a big opinion in darts. And I think Luke has realized that himself. And as I said, I feel like he's growing into that role a lot better.
if we turn it back to the match play a bit, he's obviously a proven winner in Blackpool a couple of
Yeah,
years ago, and he does have a tricky opening round game potentially with Cameron Menzies,
yeah,
fresh off Players Championship glory.
he does. Absolutely. But then I also think maybe it's also a good thing, because there will be absolutely no underestimating or anything going on. Of course, if you are going to the match play, you will not underestimate any opponent, because the best 32 players of the last 12 months are playing the tournament. So there's no reason to underestimate anyone. But I think especially with Cammy just having won a title as well, Luke will be sharp from the word go, and I just think he will get the job done, because as good as Cammy is playing and is capable of playing, I think Luke knows how to play Cammy. He will dominate from the start, and then I think he will have a good first round test to get into the tournament. At least that's my opinion. I don't know how you think about that.
Yeah, I don't think it. I think it'll be a close one, but I still see Humphries having too much for Menzies.
Mhm. So yeah, I mean that's the two biggest names, of course, in this tournament discussed. Um, as we also said, preparing for this episode, Kieran, the field, just if you look at it, it feels like it's shifting a bit. We are missing some big names. For you personally, what's the player or maybe even the players who you are missing the most? Are there any where you say, I would enjoy the match play a few percent more if they were in the field?
I think you've got the obvious ones. You've got like the Michael Smith, the Peter Wright, the even ones like Darrell Gurney, who've been regulars recent years. But it's maybe a bit of a cheat answer. But the one I really hoped would get there, but obviously hasn't, was Bo Greaves. And it
Yeah,
was a big ask for it to get in just over 6 months on the Pro Tour. But I don't think it would have been a crazy thing if she had done. And she's not exactly a million miles off getting in there now.
yeah,
But
true.
next
Yeah.
year she'll be here. Next year, well, you expect she'll be here next year for the World Matchplay, and I think that's what I'm really looking forward to.
All right. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That's a nice prospect seeing Bo play in these huge tournaments. Yeah. I personally would have loved to see Cristo Reyes, which is pretty much the same story because he also only had 6 months to do the whole job, and he got really close as well. I think sitting in 22nd on the Pro Tour race, something like that. As you already said, obviously it's a huge task to qualify for the match play, only having a few months on tour. But yeah, I think the same goes for Cristo. He will be safe or will be looking really good for the next couple of races. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing him back on those big stages after many, many years.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Do you have anything left to discuss, or should we head to a bit of dark horse form players chat and then into our predictions?
Let's say go for that. Yeah. Have you
All
got
right.
a particular dark horse in mind?
I do have, and of course, I always feel like dark horse is a bit of the wrong description for him because he's been playing at the top of the game for 10 years now. But looking at the draw, looking at the fact that he's not seeded, he's one of the Pro Tour qualifiers, and looking at who he's playing in the first round, I'm already spoilering one of my takes later on. But I think Christoph Ratajski will beat Gian van Veen, the number 3 in the world
Yeah.
and World Championship finalist, and will then go on a good run in Blackpool where he already reached the semi-finals in 2021. And so Christoph is my dark horse, if you want to put him like that.
Yeah, that's a good shout. He's been in good form this year. Not to give too much away from later, like you said, but I think we might be having a matching prediction later on.
Okay, nice. Really good. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I think for a real dark horse run, you do need one of those big wins. And even though Gian has had his obvious issues and hasn't been in the form of his life, I still think he's the number 3 in the world. He's the favorite to win that game. And if Christoph manages to put him out in the first round, I think that would be one of those headline wins that could really spur on such a dark horse run. Do you have another name as a
I
dark
had a
horse?
different name, yeah. I've got the one on my list that was caught my eye was Luke Woodhouse.
Yeah,
He's obviously been in the form of his life in 2026, winning titles for the first time. I reached the final literally just the other day, losing to your man Clemens.
yes,
And I think that the fact he has Josh Rock in the opening round, obviously Josh Rock is a high quality player.
yeah,
Semi-finalist last year was it against Littler,
yeah,
and I just feel like his form has been a little bit hit and miss in 2026. So there's an opportunity there for Woodhouse if he does carry on this career best form.
yeah. Like that. I have to say, and I would like to find out what you think of that. I have to say that I really like watching Luke Woodhouse. I just like the play. I like his throw. Um, I like his chilled demeanor, and I think he also showed like at the World Championship when Damon Hatter hit that 9 darter and he went completely nuts. I think he also showed what kind of character he is. Really good to talk to in interviews as well. I know there are different opinions about him. He is a personality that does get discussed quite a bit. But I just like watching him play darts. I just have to say. So yeah, like that take.
One sort of major criticism of Woodhouse is the fact that sometimes like if he's losing a leg, he'll just throw his darts. He won't still aim his darts
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
just chuck them. But I don't think it's a coincidence the fact that he started doing that a lot less now, and he started getting a lot more successful.
100%, yeah. And I also always feel like when I watch Woody that he would love to throw like that, just like
Yeah,
bang and the quick rhythm. But I mean, not everyone is able to do that. But yeah, absolutely right. I think he's really good off doing that a lot less. So yeah, Woodhouse and Ratajski as our dark horse picks, and then I think, Kieran, we can get into our predictions. Starting off with the big one, Kieran, who will win the World Matchplay in your opinion?
right. I've got two picks to win it and kind of hedge my bets. I've gone for
Okay.
the obvious, Luke Littler, and I've gone for because if I feel like picking Luke Littler to win a tournament is a bit cheating, isn't it? So I've gone for Wessel Nijman as well.
Wessel Nijman, okay. So we've already spoken about Luke Littler quite a bit. So give us your take on Wessel Nijman. So you do expect him to finally have his big breakthrough on the big stage?
Yeah, I am confident that this is when he's gonna show Eurotour floor Wessel Nijman on the big
Okay.
stage. And I initially thought about putting him as my dark horse, but he's been so good in 2026 that I don't think he actually is a dark horse in this
Mhm.
tournament, even though he's never got to a major quarter final.
Yeah. Do you think, just like thinking about Blackpool, Winter Gardens, the Empress Ballroom a bit, for like how big the tournament is, second biggest ranking tournament after the World Championship, of course. Do you think the fact that the Empress Ballroom is a bit smaller than some other venues, it's also like how it is built, it's a bit more wide and it's actually going like deep. Do you think that can help? So maybe he's not that overwhelmed by like how huge the arena is?
Yeah, that's a good point actually. You would think that, as we touched on already, the historic sort of Winter Gardens crowd is more of a darts crowd than a
Yeah.
TV crowd that you see at the Ali Palace, so there's a little bit more familiarity that way too. And am I right in saying Western Lyman won his first round game last year at Winter Gardens?
I have no
I
idea,
can't,
to be honest. I will be looking at that on the fly if you give me 1 second.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
But I am nearly there. So we have World Match Play 2025. Yeah, he beat Nathan Aspinall actually with a 102
Yeah,
average.
that was it.
So yeah,
Yeah, I remember he beat yeah, Arsenal was reigning champion at that time. No, that was Humphries. He was defending the
the prize
title
money. Yeah,
money from 2 years
yeah,
ago. Yeah,
exactly.
so like I say, he's got that good memories from the stage as well. And if any tournament is going to ignite the real Western Lyman on TV, I think it could be this one.
Okay, nice. Like that. Um, yeah, as you said, picking Luke Littler as a champion is a bit of cheating. So I've also not done that, but yeah, because of other reasons, as we've already talked about. Because I am really impressed with Luke Humphries so far, and I already said that in our prediction segment in our tournament center. Maybe, and there's a good case for that being the case. It's also just the urge of not going with the obvious choice. But yeah, I just genuinely think Luke Humphries has a really good shot at winning the World Match Play. I just like that development. We've already spoken about just the whole process of his standing within the game, but then also, yeah, looking more at his actual gameplay. He tinkered on his throw a little bit, changed his rhythm, then went back again. He tinkered with his equipment a little bit, just very tiny changes, but I think, as we all know in darts, that's already enough. So, yeah, he always says he's one of those players who will always be searching for that extra percentage. And I think it's worked out. Even maybe if he's only gone back to what he used before, he tested it, he worked around it, and yeah, now he really is playing one of the maybe the best darts of his life, maybe close to it. And so yeah, I do think Luke Humphries has gotten into his best shape at the exact right time, and so I think he will be winning the World Match Play. this year beating Luke Littler in the final. I just looked at the bracket and I just didn't see any scenario of Luke Littler going out before that. So I do have him
No.
as a finalist.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd take a big shock, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Is he your finalist as well if he doesn't win? Or
Yeah,
who do you have?
I'm just looking at the bracket now. I'm thinking if he beats Springer, he has Aspinall or Cullen. You'd expect him really to beat them in the current form they've got.
Mm,
And then Rock, Woodhouse, Bunting, or Zonneveld. Again, it would be a big surprise if he lost over that format, I think.
yeah.
And then semi-finals, really, you're thinking Van Gerwen or Clayton or Anderson, which is probably going to be a good game.
Yeah. Okay, so Littler as your finalist as well. And then we are heading on to the dark horse, which we have pretty much already discussed. I've got Ratajski, you've gone for Woodhouse. And
Yep.
then we can look at the seeds most in danger. And this is like the section where I have noted down a few names because, of course, I have gone with Gian van Veen because I am backing Christopher Ratajski to beat him in the first round match. But he's not like, I always feel like when you talk about seeds most in danger, you really think of someone who you just don't really back to have a good tournament because he's the one underperforming. In my case, I am backing Ratajski to pretty much overperform and have a dark horse run. So I've also noted down some other names, Josh Rock being one of them. I think you've already mentioned him as well. Of course, he's a great player,
Yep.
but he is playing one of the most informed players in the world right now with Luke Woodhouse, and at the same time just isn't looking in his best shape. I don't know where it was. I think it was at the Players' Championship midweek, where he wanted to do a high finish and just missed the big single number completely. He just has those shaky moments in his game right now. So I think playing against someone who's pretty much playing the darts of his life at the moment, this could be a difficult task for Josh. Then also Ross Smith, just because he is playing against Kevin Doots, who's obviously one of the most dangerous draws he could have gotten as a Pro Tour qualifier. And then also Danny Noppert, because he's playing against Rob Cross, and I really like what I'm seeing from Rob Cross right now. He really is getting back to a really good level, playing really good darts, and I am backing Rob to beat Danny in that first round match as well. So of course he will be one of the seeds in danger as well.
Cross is on probably his best form in a number of years at the moment.
Yeah.
Just going through my season danger, I had quite a few you mentioned there. My main one, I think we already touched upon, was Van Veen, which is interesting that we both put him because he's third seed. And then the other two that I don't think you've mentioned, I was thinking were possibly Stephen Bunting, because he's not been in the best form in 2026, and Niels Zonneveld is always a dangerous player to draw. And the other one was James Wade. James Wade's obviously got a lot of history at the match play, and he's even been good on TV this year, I think. But his record against Watamina isn't great from my memory.
That's the thing,
Watamina
yeah.
beat him at Ali Pali a couple of years ago.
True, yeah.
And I get a feeling that Watamina could surprise him in that one.
Yeah, good one. I also looked at like the whole field, and I have picked James Wade as one of the players who will go far again. Just because, I don't know, there are many names in there, like you said, Stephen Bunting, maybe even Danny Noppert playing against Rob Cross, Mikey Van Gerwen, hit and miss, where you just don't really know what to expect. Even Gary Anderson, I mean, he's been in fantastic form the last 2 or 3 years, but this year he's not been playing much. He can obviously play fantastic in average 105, then he can also play below par a bit and go, I don't know, low 90s and lose to Ryan Joyce. So there's just so many names where I don't really know what to expect, that I've picked James Wade as Mr. Consistent to do well again. But as you said, then I also realized that he doesn't really have a good statistic against Watamina. So interesting one as well. And then if we do look at our biggest first round upset, I think, Kieran, you can start off with this one because I think you can make that case for the both of us.
Are we thinking about Andrew Gilding?
Of course we are.
Like I said at the start of this episode, he's back-to-back quarterfinals at the World Matchplay, so the stage obviously suits him. And in 2026, I think we mentioned this a few episodes ago, maybe. He seems to just be getting whether it's Euro Tour, Pro Tour. He seems to be getting regular last 16 quarterfinals at almost every single tournament at the
Yeah,
moment. And with, like you say, Van Guren's so hit and miss. If the lesser Van Guren does turn up to Blackpool, Gilding will punch him.
yeah. I can't really add anything to that because that's pretty much exactly what I noted down. And I did think that you would be saying that as well because, yeah, of course I know that you have that you do like Andrew Gilding a lot, and yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I think if Michael Van Gerwen doesn't show up playing close to his A game, or maybe not A game because Michael Van Gerwen's A game is somewhere in the 120s probably, but you know what I mean. If he's not really playing up to his best standard, then I think he will have issues because I don't know. I just expect Andrew Gilding to show exactly what he has been showing for the last couple of months and also years on the Blackpool stage. And if he does that, then he's more than capable of beating Michael Van Gerwen. So yeah, totally agreeing with you on that. Of course, I've also noted down again Christopher Tysky beating Jan van Veen because I mean, Jan is the number 3 in the world, so of course that's a big upset as well. But yeah, totally agree with you on Gilding. And then we've got our last one, which I thought was a really good idea of you with the player who has got the most to prove. And yeah, I'm excited to find out who you have gone for there. I've personally picked Wessel Nijman because
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know, we always talk about the fact that he has got so much to prove on a big stage, and I'm always the one saying, come on, keep it cool a bit because I mean he's so young, he's only in his third year as a tour card holder. How much can he have to prove? And now I pick him as my player with the most to prove. So that doesn't make too much sense. But I think with the season he has played so far and with the fact that he probably is top 3 players in the world right now, if you just talk about current form and about yeah what players have won already in 2026, he has to prove that he can at least go to the later stages of this tournament. He doesn't have to win the match play, of course. He doesn't have to make the final. But I think with this season, yeah, he does have to prove with everything he's won on the Pro Tour, with all those Players' Championship success, with winning on the Euro Tour multiple times, sitting on top of the Pro Tour Order of Merit, dominating that ranking like nobody else does right now. I think with all of that being the case, heading to Blackpool, he really does have to prove that he can, as I said, at least be a factor in the later stages of the tournament.
You, you mentioned his age there and the fact that he's only in his third year, so there's no rush. But I could actually turn that back around and say the fact that he is doing so well off these TV events and on the Pro Tour and the European Tour, the
Hmm.
longer the wait goes on for a TV run, the more that pressure is going to build, I would say.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Good point. So yeah, excited to see what Bessel has in store for us. Yeah.
I had another sort of hedging bets again, but I had a couple here for the most to prove.
Hmm.
One we literally just touched upon, Michael van Gerwen, because I'm not really seeing it mentioned too much, but he's defending money from the final 2 years ago when he
Yeah.
lost to Luke Humphries. And with his ranking set to really slide at the end of the year, this is a massive tournament for him if he wants to even be still in the top 16 of the world come this time next year and qualifying for the match play automatically.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think also the fact that he played so good at the World Cup, that's also a fact that he has to prove to everyone and also himself that he can do that for more like string tournaments together. Like he has to play on that level for multiple weeks. He has to show that he's capable of doing that again. So yeah, I think he definitely has a lot to prove.
And then just a quick note as well on Dave Chisnell. He's obviously got Wessel Nijman in the first round, but he snuck in through the back door in some ways to the match play field. And although he's been given one of the tougher first round games on paper, this is a big game for Chisnell in terms of the future of his career. I think the way he has struggles have been going, not just in 2026, but the 2025, 2024 even. He's not been the Chisnell we've come to expect. And I just think if he does beat Nijman and maybe goes quarterfinals or even better, maybe that could be the start of a turnaround that we see him get back to his best.
All right. Yeah. Dave Chizzy Chisnell, who used the Last Chance Saloon Players Championships
Yeah,
23 and
yeah,
24. Okay. Is that the last name on your list, or do you have someone
yeah.
else?
That's it now.
All right. So that's pretty much our predictions done for the 2026 World Matchplay. And now, as always, we've got our beloved last section left with the quiz. I don't know, Kieran, do you want to start us off?
Sure can. Hopefully, we do better than we did in our UK Open episode.
I would like to say we can only do better, but I will wait with that assessment until afterwards.
Right then. So my question is: players who appeared at the World Matchplay at least once between 2021 and 2025, so the last 5 years, but
Mhm.
are not in the 2026 field. So
All
players who've
right.
played in the last 5 years but aren't here this year. There's 23 names in total.
23 names. Okay.
I know more than I thought.
Between 21 and now.
Yeah,
Okay. 23 names. All right. Of course, starting off with the Germans, Gabriel Clemens,
yep,
Ricardo Petreczko.
yeah,
Okay. Peter Wright,
yeah. That's three.
Raymond
Peter
van
Wright was in every
Barneveld.
year apart from this year of those last 5 years.
Yeah.
Yep, Barney.
Barney, yeah. Okay. Daryl Gurney, who missed
Yeah,
out famously.
he was also in all 5 years.
Okay, yeah. All right. I'm thinking of Madas Rasma, but I don't know if that's correct. But I think
That's a
he
good one.
played.
Yeah, good shout. He
Okay,
played in the 2022 edition.
22. Okay, good. Micah Smith, of course.
Yeah, yeah, one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking if anyone has like ended their career since then. I mean, of course, Glenn Durant had some famous Blackpool matches, but I think that was in 2019 and 2020. I think 21 he was already too far off to play.
No, he was in the 2021
He
edition.
was in. Okay, all right,
I would guess it's probably one of his last major tournaments.
probably yeah, has to be. Okay, how many is that? Not too many, of course, but
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you've got 15 left still.
15 left. Okay,
I will say this one thing: you're missing a former match play champion.
a former match play champion. Okay, that's interesting. Match play champion. Okay, let me just think of the champions. Of course, Littler, Humphries, Aspinall, Van Gerven. Champion and finalist 1 year later, Dimi.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Dimi. Okay.
Then there's one more that's been in 4 of the 5 tournaments, and then most of the others are just one-off or 2 appearances.
Okay. I mean, he has won the Grand Prix, so he must have been in Mike de Decker.
Yeah, he's in 2023 and 2025.
Okay. All right, Mikey. I'm thinking because he had that crazy peak playing the darts of his life, winning the Euros, of course. Richie Edhouse must have made the match play.
Yeah, 2024.
Okay. Who were like the ones like a bit like Maras Rasma who snuck in like the one of the latter places in the Pro Tour race. Sometimes you have some
Yeah,
new faces
there's a
on.
couple random
Yeah,
names in
yeah,
there.
exactly. This might be absolutely wrong, but I'm thinking of Martin Lukman as one of those.
Yes,
Really? Okay.
2022. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
that's a good shout.
Okay, nice. Happy that that worked out. All right. Now it really is getting difficult. I think that's it, to be honest.
Yeah, oh, you did pretty good effort, I'd say. You missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you got over half, 12 out of 23.
Yeah. Okay. At least.
And then the ones you didn't get were Brendan Dolan, who was at 4 of the
Ah.
events,
Yeah. Okay. Mhm.
Jose D'Souza,
Mhm.
and then one who just missed out this year, Kim Hybrex.
Ah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Klar. True.
And then Alan Ridds was in 2021 and 2022. And now you've got a string of sort of one-off appearances. You've got Steve Beaton,
Mhm.
Adrian Lewis, Roby John Rodriguez,
Ah. Yeah.
Devin
Robin. Yeah. True.
Pearson, Ian White, Mervyn King, and Vincent van der Voort.
Mervyn was still at the match play between 21 and now. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I mean, of course, he had that late peak where he played really good. Yeah. True.
he almost got back in the
Okay.
Premier League, didn't he?
Yeah. Absolutely. Missing out, losing the Masters final. All right. Hey, that was a nice question. I like that. Really good. All right. Yeah, of course. I mean, as this is the match play special, I've also gone for a match play themed question. And I would like to ask you how many of the match play 9-dart finishes in all of the tournament's history you can name.
Ooh. Do I have to name the player or the match?
I think the player is fair enough.
I was gonna say, I don't think I can remember the exact matches.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
that's okay.
the best 9 darter of all time because I was there. Luke Littler against Josh Rock.
All right. Yeah, absolutely correct.
One of my favourite moments of being a darts in person.
Yeah.
Uh, the year before, Dimitri got a 9, I believe.
Yeah, true. Against Martin Schindler.
I'm guessing Phil Taylor has to have one.
Phil Taylor has actually hit 2. Yeah, he hit one in 2002 and one in 2014. So in total we have 10. So you've already got 4 of them.
Okay, so the ones that come to my mind are Wes Newton, because I know it was in Blackpool and that's his like sort of home tournament,
Exactly, yeah, against Justin Pipe.
and Michael Van Gerwen because it's the famous Freddie Flintoff commentary.
Yeah, against Steve Beaton.
Van Barneveld, has he got one at Blackpool?
He has got one, yeah, in 2010. First round match against Dennis Ovens, legend.
Um,
Only 3 to go, I think.
these ones aren't coming to my mind, so they're going to have to be educated guesses, I think. Gary Anderson, has he
3,
got one?
yeah, 3 world champions, Gary being one of them, the actual greatest 9-dart of all time because it's one of the earliest ones I saw live. Joe
Yeah,
Cullen, playing Joe Cullen. I don't know, just one of
I
the
don't remember that
core
one.
the core memories of me being a darts fan. I don't know. So yeah, Gary Anderson.
Who else could it be? Gavin Price, has he got one?
Guess he has got one, yeah, 2022 semi-final against Danny Noppert. I have absolutely no memories of that match.
No.
Price played Noppert in a Blackpool semi-final throwing a 9 dart. I don't know. Could be fantasy.
No, me neither. And then I'd have to go with Peter Wright maybe because he's done well at the match play.
No Peter in here, no.
No.
You only have one more left, and it's another world champion, one of the earlier days.
Earlier days world champion.
Multiple world champion, actually.
Oh.
It's actually funny because I see it now. The 9 dart happened in a match of two Sky Sports pundits.
Oh yeah, of course. John Park against Mark Webster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course. I remember that game because they were both playing so bad, and then it literally came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Hey, good one. I mean, that was a really good run. All of them ticked off.
I think we did better than the last time. We did better than last time.
100%, yeah. Absolutely. Really, really strong. All right. Yeah, I think that's our World Matchplay special for this year. Wrapped up. Now looking forward, of course, to the tournament. Kieran, I wish you a very nice trip to Blackpool. And
Yes.
I don't know how long will you be there, all of the 9 days, I think you said?
Yeah, all 9 days, yeah. Over there.
Nice.
So if you're around Blackpool and you see Darts News, come and say hello.
Exactly. So yeah, enjoy yourself. Have a nice trip. And then I think we will hear each other again afterwards for sure. Then you can report to all of us how the Blackpool experience was. Thank you very much for your time, Kieran. And
Always a pleasure.
have a nice time in Blackpool.
And thanks, mate. See you later.
Bye-bye.